afternoon. My name is Sheila Lamb, and I'm with the Virginia SBDC Network. For those of you that are not familiar with our organization, the Virginia Small Business Development Center is a partnership program between the U.S. Small Business Administration, George Mason University, and local host institutions throughout Virginia. With 26 locations across the Commonwealth, we provide training and technical assistance to small businesses and their local communities. Our one-on-one advising services are available at no charge. Today's webinar, The AI Edge Without the Exposure, Cybersecurity for Small Business Owners, is presented by the Virginia SBDC Network. Please join us for our next cybersecurity webinar, Cybersecurity 101, Protecting Your Business in a Digital First World. And that's occurring on December 11th at 12:30. I'll drop that link into the chat momentarily. We are recording today's presentation, and it will be posted on our website, virginiasbdc.org. Due to the large number of expected participants, everyone's microphone is muted and the chat feature is turned off. But if you have questions during the presentation, you can type those into the Q&A box, and we will adjust them at the end of the session. We have also enabled the live transcript function, which you can show or hide via your own meeting controls. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our presenters for today's session, Kiana Gainey and Lori Zioli. Kiana is a 20-plus year IT and cybersecurity industry veteran and has served as Chief Executive Officer for SecureTech 360, located in Springfield, Virginia, since its inception in 2010. She is also the Cyber Industry Specialist for the Virginia SBDC. Joining Kiana today is Lori Zioli, CEO and founder of Explorize AI, an artificial intelligence consulting agency that primarily services small businesses and solopreneurs. She has spent over 25 years helping businesses use technology and strategy to grow. With an MBA and certifications in AI consulting, data, and change management, she specializes in making AI practical, people-friendly, and results-driven for small businesses. Welcome, Kiana and Lori.
Thank you, Sheila. So today we have a special treat. I know that this is like a hot topic with technology, evolving, and AI, the new buzzword I like to say. But as it relates to cybersecurity, there are some, best practices as small business owners that we can utilize to be able to use AI to our advantage. And then there's some things that we just need to be made aware of. And so I brought today SME in the space to give you some real insight about AI and as it relates to cybersecurity. So this is going to be a special treat. So I'll turn it over to Lori to start the presentation. But in the end, we'll do a conclusion. That's a little bit about me, a little bit about Lori. And then we'll take some questions at the end. So get your questions ready. We have our SME available to answer those questions. And then we have some resources for you at the end of the presentation, along with we'll be sending out a one-pager with some tips and tricks for you as well. Okay, Lori, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Yana, and thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. I will go ahead and start the slide and actually take myself off video, but I wanted to introduce myself first prior to doing that. That way I can concentrate on the information ahead of me. So just give me one moment to turn off my video. All right, so let's take a look at the advantages and also the risk of AI for small businesses. On the left-hand side is the advantage. So we know that AI is becoming the new productivity multiplier, and it is a disruptor across many industries. It is reshaping how businesses, small, medium, or large corporations operate by either having a faster decision-making process, it's reducing the administrative workload, as well as how they engage with their customers. So taking a look at this graph, this chart shows exactly why small businesses are turning into AI. So the number one motivator is productivity. And I'm not sure if you can make this slide a little bit bigger, but if you take a look at the top bar, that is the productivity. And 73% of small business owners say that AI helps them get more done with the same people and the same resources. Right behind that is automating routine tasks. More than half of small businesses want to offload repetitive task work so their teams can focus on the parts of the business that actually generates revenue. 47%, so behind that, 47% say reducing costs is also a key driver. AI helps eliminate wasted time and inefficient processes, which matters especially when your margins are tight. And notice this one, gaining competitive advantage. Nearly half of small business owners already see AI as a way to move faster than their competitors who are still doing things manually. Even customer service shows up. That's 42% who want AI to help them respond faster to their customers, personalize interactions, and also improve the overall customer experience. So, the story that this graph tells you is simple. Small businesses are using AI to save time, to reduce their costs, and stay competitive, and not to replace people, which is what you may hear, but to help them do their jobs better. Which really leads me to the item on the right, and that is that risk. So the real risk isn't AI replacing the jobs, but it is when your competitors are adopting AI first and finding ways to use AI as their competitive edge. Next slide, please. So, how is AI helping small businesses win? AI is no longer a luxury for big companies. It has become the most powerful competitive equalizer for small businesses who are ready to use it intentionally and strategically. So, here are just a few examples. Number one is competing with the bigger players. Because smaller businesses have fewer layers and can adapt faster, AI lets you level the playing field also faster. And the advantage for that is that you have access to the same tools as other larger companies. Number two is leveraging data for decisions that you previously weren't able to make. Small businesses in the past often lack the budget for, say, the data science team that is present for larger firms. But today, AI puts insight into the hands of smaller businesses. AI can uncover the trends, the forecast of cash flows, the identity of inefficiencies, and also alerts the leaders, the business owners, and their employees to vendor cost shifts or even changing client behavior. Thus, as a benefit, AI helps make smaller businesses make decisions about their data points ahead of their competitors, again, while they're still reacting or doing things manually. Number three is delivering high quality marketing and customer experiences with less budget. So, with AI, smaller teams or smaller businesses can now create customized content, target specific campaigns, personalize outreach, and respond much faster. And as a result, you can personalize customer experiences and also convert faster without the high price tags. And the last example is controlling the cost and resource constraints. So, small businesses often face the staffing, the budget, and time constraints in the past. But today, AI helps you compensate through automating repetitive work, helping you do more with less. And according to the Small Business Administration, AI can improve efficiency, save costs, and help smaller businesses stay competitive, especially with inflations and or labor tight times. So again, the benefit is less overhead, fewer bottlenecks, and more growth. Next slide, please. So AI creates the new efficiencies, but it also expands your attack surface. Without proper education on the use of AI, Small businesses may not be able to secure how employees use AI, where the data goes, for example, how tools are integrated into their daily operations, which can lead to cyber risk. So here are some examples. Number one is shadow AI. You may have heard this term, shadow AI inside your business. This is when employees often use AI tools without the approval or security checks. This creates blind spots, obviously, where sensitive information can leak or be stored in unsecured systems, excuse me. So the impact for this is on small businesses, you may unknowingly expose client data, HR files, or financial information without any audit trail. Number two is AI models learning from your sensitive data. So, an example is when employees paste contracts or invoices, customer issues, or internal documents into public AI tools. That data may be stored, even logged, or used to train future LLM models depending on the platform. So, the impact is loss of confidentiality, compliance violations, or even legal exposure. Number three is AI powered phishing and scams. And this is long before AI came into place. But now with AI, cyber criminals can use AI to create emails, text, and voice messages that are highly personalized and nearly impossible to distinguish from real ones. So the impact then is a higher risk of your employees clicking malicious links, sharing credentials, or wiring funds to fraudulent accounts. And last but not least is weakening of access controls. An example is AI tools often integrating with your email, calendars, or document systems. So, a poorly configured permission or weak API settings open new doors for cyber intrusions. And the impact for this is unauthorized access to customer lists, financial data, or internal operations. So, next slide, please. So, what are safer AI workflows and simple team guidelines? These are a few that I would like to share with you. Number one is using company approved AI tools only. So, small businesses or medium or large should centralize AI use rather than letting employees choose random apps. A good guideline is then to provide one approved AI platform and require the team to use them so the data stays in controlled systems. Number two is to train your team on safer prompts. And you have seen on perhaps many YouTube videos on how to create prompts, but there is, it is an art and a lot more training that is needed. So, train employees on how to use and how to ask AI for help without exposing sensitive data. You can teach employees how to, use simple prompt formulas, also in their settings, and to know, when to share information with the LLM, and also to have it using a private setting. And the third is to incorporate AI into your workflows and in your standard operating procedures. AI is most effective when it becomes a normal step in the way your business already operates. So instead of treating AI as a bonus tool, build it directly into your everyday workflows and into your SOPs. When you in your SOPs, include your steps, your team knows when to use AI, how to use it, and what guardrails, can apply. And this altogether can keep your business efficient and accurate and well aligned, especially if your employees may be new to AI. That is even helpful. Next slide, please. All right. So that concludes the portion of AI. I'll go ahead and hand it over to Kiana.
Thank you, Lori. That was amazing. So as Lori was talking, I was just thinking about, as we're thinking about the foundational principles as it relates to cybersecurity, AI is an amazing resource and tool that we can use as a small business owner, but we have to start with the basics, right? So embedding those practices into your everyday, almost like a business plan. So if you are adding a new feature or a new way that you're going to be operating, you have to think about how that can be embedded into your small business. So it always starts with the leader. I would say the leader is responsible for one, shaping what the policies and even approving what policies and procedures will need to be in place for your small business, but also that mindset or that mindset shift, right? So we need employees to think about cybersecurity in their daily actions. I'll give an example. As you're leading a team and, with the advancement of AI, it's very, easy for someone to use those same tools to be able to try to do things to make their jobs easier. However, I think that we also have to take a step back, make sure that we're embedding that even as we're onboarding new employees into our security onboarding to discuss like what AI tools are approved for our organization and which ones are not. And let's say you don't have a policy for how you are dealing with AI. Start thinking about that now. As I am bring on new employees, I'm constantly updating my security plan, my rules of behavior, and even in my staff meetings, discussing how the evolution of any type of tool or technology that we're using within our organization, but embracing it, but also thinking about how it will be able to, we're not leaking things like trade secrets. We're not, there's no data that's going to be lost, or someone can use that same information because it is AI, it's artificial intelligence. So I always like to think about it. Even I share this with even some of my younger like nieces and nephews. AI, I think about it like I wouldn't get on a phone and discuss all of my company secrets that I've already signed a rules of behavior and I've signed different confidentiality agreements and talk about it in real time. So think about that. Even as it could be something as simple as, oh, I'm just, this is something that's going to make my job easier. But if that information got into the wrong hands and it was able to be traced back to you, think about the implications that can have on your business, that can have on your customers that entrusted you with their information and their data. So, leading by example, building those strong security practices, doing that continuous education, integrating those security first mindset principles into your operation and even in your business decisions as you're processing this new landscape of AI. I've seen so many different reports where there's so many pros and so many cons. And from my perspective, it's like with any evolution of technology, there's going to always be those onesie twosie nefarious actors that make it seem like it's this big spooky man. I know we just finished up Halloween or person, but it's not. It's there to, like Lori so eloquently put. It can be used to do a lot of amazing things for your small business, but we have to take the time to think about how it impact how we're currently doing business and also making sure that our employees are well trained, they understand it, and they understand the implications of not using it without proper authorization, and also not thinking about the business side of how to use it for your small business. Next slide. So again, some key takeaways. I know we covered a lot in a very short period of time, so please give us some great questions so that we can give you some, real-time answers. But some key takeaways, being prepared for the evolution, or even if you're thinking about rolling out AR, if you're already using it, you're like, hey, I need to take a step back. I haven't even thought about this. I thought about how it can be used to, do a thing in my organization, maybe more efficient or maybe faster, but I haven't, taken the time to think about all the security or cybersecurity threats that may impact my small business. So Take the time, implement those proactive measures such as doing, regular audits within your organization to make sure that, things are in place. Again, I can't stress it enough, even from the small, medium, or large organization, it always starts with the employee training. Training is something that is low cost, and it's a way to just keep the conversation going or keep education and keeping it front of mind for your employees. And then also think about what happens if something does get spilled, right? If data is spilled or if information is leaked. Well, how will we respond as a small business? So doing that incident response planning is very crucial to minimizing risk for your organization, and then recognizing what pressing cybersecurity threats or impact to my small business. So it's a personal thing, because I always think of cybersecurity as not as a one size fit all. It is very integrated. It should be very, it should be used for your particular business line and how you support your customers. And think about it like, even if you're just a small business just starting off, I always like to say, plan if tomorrow, if someone just gave you that multi-million-dollar check or that multi-million-dollar, contract, or some advancement in your wonderful small business, think about building what that looks like for that. If you're going to be, hiring new employees, or if you're going to have more customers, what does that all look like? So think about that, and think about all of the pressing cybersecurity threats that may impact your business from now and even with your growth. And as you're growing, it's going to change. So think of your cybersecurity practices as your business plan. It is a living document, right? I looked at my business plan when I first started a decade ago, and from now until where I'm at now, even some of the goals, they're changing, right? And as we're ending the year and we're closing now 2025 and we're starting to plan for 2026, put this on your radar to start, thinking about what proactive measures can I use? How can I be prepared? What type of incident response planning, things that I'm doing now, and what I can do better? What type of training can I, add to what I already have in place? Or if I haven't even started, let me get started, right? So taking a proactive approach is the best way that you can safeguard your business against any type of cyber threats as we embrace this new age of AI. Next slide. So in conclusion, AI is no longer this future tool. The future is now. It is being a competitive way now that all businesses now have an entry point into the marketplace, right? It is, I think about years ago when we didn't even have social media. We didn't even have things like YouTube, right? It changed. I even go back, I'm going to date myself. I remember when Napster came, and it was this thing about music and how it changed music. And then we had the iPod that came out where you can use music, have all this music on one device. And you had all these CDs and you had all these records. And you have some people that are more traditional that, didn't, adopt it early on. But as time and as the emergence of that new technology came, and there were some legal ramifications, right? We had to think about laws had to be changed to even think about integrating what industries will look like with these new technologies. So AI is no different. So think about it as you see evolution is happening. It's here. It's now. It's a great thing, and it has. I know from my own business, it's definitely helped. With some to create some efficiencies for my small business. But it also needs some guardrails, right? So you have to have a winning strategy. I would, if this is not your space, like I'm a big component as a small business owner. I'm not a numbers person. I understand, I get it, but it's like pulling teeth every time I have to think about talking to my CPA. But that's why I hired a CPA, right? Because that's not my given skill set. So if there's areas where you need more assistance, think about hiring consultants, thinking about hiring advisors that are wonderful in this space that can help you navigate. Like, what guardrails do I need? What, this is what I do in my business, and this is what I'm doing now. Or, hey, I'm thinking about, adopting an AI model, or I want to create my own AI. Like, what does that look like? Hire a consultant. Think about that. Write it out. It's like what your wish list is as a small business owner, and find those SMEs to help you navigate that so that you're not doing it all alone. So I'll let Lori chime in on this, but about the winning path and some simple solutions and things that you can do so that you can bridge AI and cybersecurity for your small business to bring that stability as you're trying to compete into an open market.
Yeah, thank you, Kiana. And I do echo everything that Kiana mentioned. As we are in the forefront and still learning about AI, it's very important these days to make sure that you are just as comfortable or mindful about the cybersecurity aspect of any technology tools, whether it is AI or any other modern technology. So, not much that I can add, except it is a very good combination to have as part of your business, and it is integrated into your processes. So that it is a peace of mind that you have, and it's much more easy to deal with should any challenges happen in the future. So, echoing everything that Kiana has mentioned.
Thank you, Lori. So again, a winning path for you and your small business. Use approved AI tools. Think about what that looks like for your organization. Train your team on safe habits. Making sure that I like to do it from onboarding into my staff meetings, newsletters, always having it front of mind, right? So that you can build that security first culture. And building AI steps into your workflows and your SOPs. So think about what that looks like. I currently have this SOP. This is how the sausage is made for my organization, creating those workflow processes as you're, embedding those AI within your organization, and treat cybersecurity as part of your daily operation. Those are definitely the winning keys to any type of recipe for your small business, starting there first. And I like to also, just bring it home as saying, if this is not your, area of expertise, do not, feel like it's a bad thing if you have to bring in a subject matter expert to help you with that. So any questions? We're opening it up for questions now.
Let's see, I think we just had one question drop in. So there is someone looking, does SBDC offer basic cybersecurity advice to a brand new small business? We do have a dedicated link on our website, as well as our small business advisors, but I'm going to let Kiana expand on that.
Yes. So yes, I love your analogy. It's like I gave you all of this thing to say, go and eat healthy, and and figure out how to eat healthy, right? So yes, so the SBDC does an amazing job. We have a dedicated website that has a wealth of information, from everything from cybersecurity 101 basics all the way into some of the more specific topics such as AI, or things dealing with healthcare, from regulations. So depending on where you fall in that, I would highly recommend starting with our website. Our website also have links to an amazing website like the SBA. Some of our partners that we use to help build this content as well. And then like today, you came today to our webinars. We host them monthly. We also have blog posts that go out with different cybersecurity tips and tricks. And then if you just have a simple question, we have the help at sbdc.org, correct? Okay, yes. You can just shoot us a quick email with a question, and we'll definitely, if it's not something that I can answer, like to Sheila's point, there are amazing small business advisors that can help you with your small business. And then also, if there's specific questions about cybersecurity, I am here to help with that as well. So you're not alone. And so as you're, building your cybersecurity health plan for 2025 and as you're going into 2026, we're here to help you to kind of navigate that.
Okay. And the help email is in the chat. It will also be in the follow-up slides as well as Kiana's information and Lori's information. So,
thank you.
Let's see, we do have another question. What is the safest type of printer to use for a small business? Some of them come AI enabled. Can either of you all answer that question?
So even if the printer comes with AI features, if it's not something that you want for your organization, anything that comes with an embedded features can be turned off, right? So like even on my phone, there are certain things on my phone, on my iPad that may have come resident to the device. I go immediately into the whatever the security features for that tool or the application and turn them off, turn them on. You can definitely control what you want within your, for your device, for your small business. So just because something comes with something doesn't mean you have to turn it on. So first thing I would do, if the printer came with any type of manual or any type of instructions, and then a wonderful thing about the World Wide Web, there are so many tips about, and I like to read reviews. So if there's a particular thing that I want to use from our organization, I'll do as much research about that particular tool or application, and I read the reviews. And a lot of times you'll find a lot of information about, people's either wonderful experiences or not so much, not wonderful things. So you can turn off those features if that's not something that you want in short.
Thank you. Lori, did you have anything to add on that?
No,
Okay.
I actually, yep. Kiana's the cybersecurity guru, and I will be answering the AI.
I feel like you all are a great tag team, though. All right, so we do have another question, and actually, Lori, this might be you. How can we know which AI tools are safe to use for our employees?
Brilliant question, and thank you for asking that. The first thing I ask is, what is the business problem that you're trying to solve with AI? That is the number one question that I ask, because sometimes we are very excited about using the most advanced tools that may simply be used but not necessarily be the solution to the answer that we're looking for. So just adding that to this comment. But to answer your question, I look for a couple of things. The top four are, what are the access controls for that AI solution? What are the compliance associated with that AI tool? And the data security, and again, as Kiana mentioned, there are certain protocols and procedures that you might want to take a look at regarding the tools that you have. And what I can suggest as well is, run a small pilot. I think that's one of the safest bets that you can do if you're not quite sure on what the AI tool is that is helping and resolving the problem that you have, is run small pilots. And that way you can be a little bit more agile in terms of determining, is this the right tool that gives me the prompt to answer the question and resolve the problem that I'm having? So, AI tools, there are 40,000 LLMs that are out there in the market. So you may hear about ChatGPT, Claude, but there are 40,000 LLMs out there. And not all of them obviously are created equal, but I would say the safest tools right now are those when you take a look at their website, it is where the investors are pouring money on the security aspect of that. They are also ethical in use. And so again, I usually stick with the big boys only because I know that the reputation is there, and also the investors are pouring billions of dollars into this security aspect, and that is the number one component that I look for. So I hope that answers your question.
That was amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
Let's see, we have another one. How can we know what are the right policies to make keeping AI related cybersecurity in mind?
Oh, I love this one. Okay, so I would start with the basics. As you're onboarding employees, think about rules of behavior. Rules of behavior basically points out this is how I want you to use this technology, this device that I'm handing you. This is the rules that are set for this organization. A couple of other ones, the acceptable use policy of AI. It just explicitly states how you want AI to be used within your organization so that the employees know upfront. This is like to Lori's point, the approved AI for our organization is Gemini, or the approved one is OpenAI. Or if they have one that is, resident to their organization. I have a lot of organizations that are building their own AI tools. And so that may be something that should be in your policies as well. How to handle sensitive data, right? We do not want employees, putting in questions or looking for information on how to improve something to make their job go easier, but they're leaking some of your trade secrets, right? Because again, it's an open tool, right? That can be used and it can be reused. And if you're not clear, even to Lori's point, if any type of tool device that you're using, take the time to read the terms of conditions, take the time to read the policies and procedures that are outlined for those particular tools that you're using, because that will let you know how the information is being handled and what access control that they have in place. Because you don't want to be typing in there a famous recipe that you want to trademark later on down the line, and then voila, someone else has your 40-year recipe that was passed down for generations. You're like, wait a minute, that looks very familiar. You don't want that to happen to you. And then again, with the shadow AI, that's another one. This sets rules to stop employees from using unapproved AI tools. It describes how the business detects unauthorized AI use. And then about any AI data retention and deletion policies, what to use for that as well. The access control is another good one. I think I covered incident response. This is what happens if something happens. Maybe it's a oops, what to do, who to call. Those type of things are great. Employee training and awareness. If you're using vendors or third party, make sure that you have an AI policies outlined. If you are bringing on a third party or vendor, make sure you understand their AI policy and what they're doing with your information as well. So I hope that answers the question. But with any technology, looking underneath the hood and making sure you understand what the inner workings of that particular technology they're using is very important as you're developing policies and procedures for your organization.
Thank you so much for that, Kiana. And the other thing that I would like to add is also having, training in AI ethics. I think that, AI governance, which is, a little bit different in terms of just how are you using the data that you have in your company, and how are you, when you are gathering research using AI, are you using the data that you captured in an ethical manner? I think that's the one thing too that is a gap here in the market. So educating yourself and also your employees. Always, I'm a big proponent of just educating and just learning what is there. But I think AI ethics is a big component to your business, as well as learning the AI tools and learning the cybersecurity aspect of your business. So I do want to add about having the integrating AI ethics and governance into your business process as well.
I think that just gave me an idea. I think we should have a follow-on just on that topic alone, because that would take up a whole nother hour, but I think it would be amazing so that we can do a deep dive for our audience.
Very
Let's do it.
critical.
I think so. I agree. So we have one more. Are there any model policies we could take a look at?
Yes, so NIST has a whole AI risk management framework. I don't know if it's on this slide, but Sheila,
There's
we'll give you this.
something.
Yeah, SBA has one.
Okay.
The Chamber of Commerce has one as well, but we'll put together like a one-pager with some additional resources and some examples for the audience,
Great.
and send it out along with the slides.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, we don't have any other questions at the moment, so I'm going to put out a last call to pick Lori and Kiana's brains while we have them right here in front of us, get all their expertise and their knowledge. And we'll see if anything comes through. I do like the idea of a follow-up session though with the two of you.
Thank you.
That's fabulous.
So if we don't have any more questions, I'll wrap it up and say that here's some information to contact us, a link to the webinars or anyone that's just want to get started with cybersecurity. And there's some previous webinars there, some amazing resources there as well. There's Lori's information, that's her LinkedIn, her email. If you need some additional consulting or advice, she's available. Here's my email and the website for cybersecurity. And we'll send out the one pager as well with some additional resources. But just to put a pin in everything, AI is here. And it's an amazing, amazing advancement that has definitely leveled the playing field for small businesses. So do not be afraid of it, embrace it, but educate yourself. And like to Lori's point, creating those policies that deal with governance and ethics and making sure that your employees are ready for this amazing advancement to help your business processes be more efficient. It is a wonderful resource. And so, embrace it and use it to your benefit. But again, make sure you're well educated about it as well.
Lori, do you have anything to add to that? I mean, I don't know if there is anything to add to that.
Actually, I do. Kiana mentioned the word embrace, and I think that is a key word at this moment. I think that when you hear when you read articles or you hear about AI, take a look at the source that you're getting that from, because 80% of what you read may not have that true depth of why this AI may be acting in a certain manner. We are in the early stages of AI adoption. However, you can see the potential, and again, potential and embrace are the two key words that are that open possibilities to what you can do for your business. And I think just it will evolve. Roles will evolve. I have two college girls, and I always tell them that what they will find in their job market in a couple of years when they will graduate will be completely different. And so it's always trying to find out how can you still have that passion to do your work, but amplify it using AI technology. So embracing it and find a creative way to amplify your skill sets, your passion, to make this world, better, through AI. So that's how I want to leave, this webinar that Kiana gracefully asked me to be a guest speaker. So I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful indeed.
Thank you, Lori. You've been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I agree. Lori and Kiana, thank you both so much. And I also want to add thank you all to those who were able to join us today. And we do look forward to getting this email out to you. It's going to have a link to the recording, to the slides, and there's additional resources. If you would like to sign up for upcoming webinars or access recorded webinars, please visit Virginia SBDC/training. This webinar and other SBD resources are designed to be used in collaboration with your local SBDC advisors. You can sign up for a free and confidential session by emailing help@virginiasbdc.org or via our website. And we hope to see you all at our next session. And ladies, I'm ready to get one on the calendar with you all again. So
Sounds
take
good.
care, everyone.